Okay. Now, me and Kai both have sticks, right? He's got more of a big half type of stick. This doesn't sound good. And I have a very small 2.5 inch. Jesus Christ! Freudian slip, Daniel. All right. This is the first official Zen in the Car podcast from the car. Isn't that kind of cool?
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yes, I am not in the car, but they are.
Yes. Well, you're with us in love. Yes?
Sure.
Yes. So, Superist show episode number, Dylan, what number are we at?
726.
726 coming at you from I-16 on the way to Tybee Island. So let's get it out of the way. Let's go ahead and get it out of the way. We attempted to record a podcast the other night. Kai, do you feel comfortable talking about this?
What, you talking about the Wow's tripping balls?
Yeah, you want to talk about it? Is it okay? It's okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it is. It's okay. It's okay.
Okay. All right, so let me set it up, right? Let me set it up for the listeners, because me and Dylan already know we were there. We survived.
It's a challenging experience.
It's just a challenging experience. So as everyone knows, I'm into medicinal herbs. Me and Kai both were into, homeopathic type medicines, and we joke about taking things like LSD and psilocybin and San Pedro. We joke about it, we make light about it, but honestly, these are very therapeutic methods of getting in and dealing with some stuff. It's very extreme. It's like 5 years of therapy rolled up into 5 hours, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? I mean, am I right?
Yeah, you're right. Spot on.
Yeah, if you're using the plant medicine for the purposes that it's intended, then, not just recreationally, but for the purposes of therapy, then it's very tremendous. I mean, you can rewrite traumatic events in your life and yada, yada. Well, everybody's heard of people having a good trip and a bad trip. So, me and Kai-Wong, it was, the week of my birthday, so I was like, we haven't went on the magic mushrooms for a while. Let's have some delivered and see what shakes loose, do a reset, because, we've been through some stuff. Everybody's going through some stuff. The entire country's going through some stuff. So we did. We had them delivered, and then we thought it would be wise, after taking quite a few caps and stems, to try to record a podcast.
They called me unsuspecting. Thought we were gonna have a normal podcast.
Normal podcast? Do we ever have a normal podcast?
Normal for
Never.
us. Normal for us. We usually get through a recording.
So, poor old Kai. After he took quite a big dose, he was in the zone. He was doing his thing. He was saging out and had some good music playing. And I was kind of out in the yard. And I was like, "All right, dude, Dylan's waiting on us. You ready to do this?" And he kind of had a eat shit grin on his face. His cheeks were all red from smiling. And I'm like, "All right, I'm gonna set this up and roll the die, man." Well, and I was like, "Kai, are you good? Are you good? Can you do this?" "All right, man. Get motivated, Kai. Get motivated." He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get motivated, right?" And so then we attempted to record. And you did pretty good. You did pretty good until that last stem and cap kicked in. And then, what happened, Dylan?
To be unfair to Kai, he also didn't really say much.
I was in a whole nother world.
I said, "Yeah, Kai's having a good time. It ain't on this planet, but he's having a good time." But I think it opened up with Kai was on Skype on his phone, and he accidentally hit the camera, and he saw himself on camera. He starts freaking out. He's like, "Did that freak you out?" And then he's like, and then he couldn't get the camera to go off. So Dylan is like, "Kai, listen to the sound of my voice."
Kai, I believe in you. You can do this.
We support you in this, Kai. We're friends. And this poor guy, he just looked. He looked like he looks. It was. I felt so bad for him because he was like trying to hand me his phone. Like, here, do something with this. I don't know what I'm doing. You know. I was like, all right, give me your phone. I'll hit the camera button. Meanwhile, you see on the screen like the inside of my house and everything. And
I
so then
see Daniel's shining head.
yeah. He hands me the phone, and by the time he does, now it's back to the password lock, and it's one of those password locks where it's like a design, which I'm actually surprised Kai remembered the design or was able to do it. Like, put your password back in, Kai. Put it in. So that's kind of how it started. But as it went on, uh, as the trip went on, Kai started getting inundated with the internets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, yeah, because the bridge is like, I mean, I call where we record the bridge, it is like a starship. You know, there's monitors everywhere and, you know, James Bond tech everywhere and mics and yada yada. So Kai is he's trying under the influence of magic mushrooms to navigate through the land of the internets whilst on Skype, whilst on Facebook, whilst through text, whilst on phone. And it was just
While recording a podcast.
While recording a podcast. And it was just sensory overload.
Yeah, it was. It was wild, man. And then when I went over to Casey's house, right?
You're skipping ahead. You're skipping ahead.
You're skipping ahead.
Uh-huh.
And nobody knows who
We're
Casey
gonna
is.
We're gonna get.
Oh yeah. Okay, go ahead. As you were.
No, you keep going.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
Oh, well, he's skipping ahead. What's he skipping ahead on, Dylan?
The whole driving bit.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I attempted to steal 2 cars that night.
Yeah.
The magic minivan and then, you know, my friend's truck.
Yeah. About 45 minutes after the Skype incident, he comes in, you know, and I get it. I mean, it's fun to drive, you know, if you're careful. But he's like, I need to go. And I go, huh? I need to go. I need the van. I need to go. Like he was on a quest from God, you know? And he lit in his face. It was like, I must go, Daniel. I must go. And I'm like, dude. He's like, yes, I have to. And I go, dude, you're not going anywhere, Kai. He's like, but I must go. Like, 45 minutes ago, dude, you couldn't turn the camera off on Skype. You're not taking Zora anywhere, right? So it's like, where do you want to go, dude? I will take you there. Either way, I haven't listened to it. Have you, Dylan?
No. Did you even upload it?
Oh, no, I haven't. I wouldn't do that. No, I'm going to let Kai and all of us listen to it, see if we got some good B-reel footage.
Oh,
but I would never do that.
Oh, I mean, I remember that night. We got good B-roll.
We got some good
We got.
Well, you know what though? Like you guys were talking about Picard, and you guys were making some very, very good stuff. I mean, y'all had some really good stuff. I didn't talk because I was just enamored with what y'all were saying. I was like, these dudes are geniuses, you know. So.
Oh. That's so sweet.
That's a good cover story, Kai.
Yeah, he's trying to placate us. So please don't upload that audio. I wouldn't do that anyway. I know people who do shady shit like that. They'll know. But anywho.
Oh no, we're not gonna upload that without your permission.
Yeah, we're gonna listen to it. I mean, I know there's got to be some good comedy in there, but you know,
there is.
Every upload must be consensual. Yeah. That's just we're not roofing any uploads.
No, explicit verbal consent is key in all matters.
Yes. All right, so I want to wrap up the stick story because it's on my mind because we're going to Tybee and I don't know how long we got, so I don't know if we could do Picard. We might get into it. I don't know when we're getting back to our hotel tonight, so we'll just see. Okay. So let me wrap up. Let me wrap up the stick story. So this was a few weeks ago. This is after the whole stabbing thing in Ellis Square, yada yada. The very next day, I go to Tybee Island, which is a beach I haven't been to in quite a few years, and I was in a headspace. I was kind of in this peaceful, even though the events of the night before were very intense. I was just in a really, really good headspace because it was like, wow, it was a God moment. It was a spiritual moment for me. And the next day was like me reflecting on that and reflecting on, you know, life and death and God and the Uberverse and how we treat each other and what's going on. It was just a big cloud of nirvana. So I'm on the beach. I'm walking. on the beach. I'm wearing a Silence of the Lambs T-shirt because I love Silence of the Lambs. I'm wearing a necklace with an Om symbol on it, and I've got my magic juju bag over one hip. And in my magic juju bag is my stick. It's a stick. Okay. Now, me and Kai both have sticks, right? He's got more of a big staff type of stick. This doesn't sound good. And I have a very
Oh.
small 2.5 inch. Jesus Christ! Right, Daniel. Yeah, a 2.5 foot stick.
Oh,
Okay.
oh, come on now. You don't have to lie and overcompensate.
I'm not the one carrying like a 5 foot staff like Kai. That's overcompensation. I know what I
Nigga,
got.
Wait, I'm confused. Are we talking about sticks or dicks now?
We're literally talking about sticks. We're literally talking about sticks. So on my particular stick, and I don't want to say the origin of why me and Kai both have sticks until the end, because this is what makes it so funny, to me anyway. But so my stick, it's painted black, and it has red paint drizzles all over it, okay, on both ends. And it has a ton of little bitty keys attached to either end. It makes for an excellent
That
back
sounds,
scratch.
that sounds painful.
It does, and if you see me with the stick, which is funny, when I take walks, I carry my stick with me. Sometimes I'll carry it, and then sometimes it's in my bag, half sticking out. But
I'm
if
sorry.
you're,
I'm sorry. I'm a fucking child. I can't get past it.
the stick, it's like a stick in a box, stick in a bag. Anywho,
I'm
so
trying.
if you're like, get your head out of the gutter, Dylan. If
I
you're
can't.
if you're walking towards me and you get within like 10 feet, from your point of view, it looks like I have recently bludgeoned somebody to death with this stick because it looks like blood. And I didn't intend that. I just like the colors black and red, well, the non-color black and the color red. But anyway, so I'm on the beach, walking across the beach in my God moment, got my Silence of the Lambs T-shirt, got my Om symbol, and I got my stick. So I walk on the pier and I go out there and meditate on the pier for a while and charge up some crystals and toss some stuff into the ocean I no longer needed. Good riddance. And so I just have this great God moment. It's one of those things. If you've ever been there, you know. And so I'm walking off the pier, and there was this guy with his family, a little short guy, long beard, had a black shirt on, and in brazen white at the very top of the shirt, it said, because he had turned around and I glanced at. It said, "In the last days there shall be perilous times," which me as a former Sunday school teacher, I knew that that's from the Bible, obviously, and it's talking about the end days and the Antichrist. But there's a whole lot of other text. Now, I just wanted to know what version was on the guy's shirt, right? So there I am, and I said, "Excuse me, can I read your shirt?" And so he stops and he puts his hands on his shoulders, his fists, like he's Superman, right? Like, yes, read my Christian shirt, you know? You know what I mean? You ever been around one of these guys? Anybody?
Yeah,
Fun?
yeah.
Yeah. So I read it and I go, "Thanks, man. I appreciate you letting me read that." And he says, "Hey, brother." And I go, "Here we go. Can I ask you a question?" And I
Oh,
said, "What's up? What's about to happen, Dylan?"
uh, he's gonna proselytize you.
Proselytize me, and I knew it was coming up because I did that, most of my life. So I was like, "Here we go," But he's in front of his wife and kids, So okay. So he's like, "Can I ask you a question, brother?" And I go, "Yeah, go ahead, man." He's like, "Do you know the Lord Jesus Christ as your personal Savior?" And I just, at this point, my left cheek started to curl with just a slight smile, and I kind of cocked my head because I knew this was coming. You know what I mean? And I said, "Yeah, I know the Lord Jesus Christ is my personal Savior." "Do you though?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I really do." He goes, "Well, did you know that there's a man coming on the scene called the Antichrist?" I said, "Yeah, I know all about that." He's like, "And there's going to be a mark that you either take in your forehead or your hand." I go, "Uh-huh, I'm aware of that too. I've read the book. Read the book several times." So he's like, "Well, brother, I mean, come on, you're not walking as close with the Lord as you should." And I said, "Sorry, excuse me?" He said, "You've strayed, brother. I know that you've strayed." And I kind of, and I'm looking at this guy, and I'm like, "Yeah?" I said, "Can I ask you a question?" I said, "My name." He asked me my name. I said, "My name's Daniel." He said, "That's a powerful name." I said, "Yeah, it's a biblical one. God is my only judge. God is my only judge, dude." I said, "So, what's your name?" He goes, "Well, they call me the servant." And I was like, oh, okay. So now we're doing that. Like, all right, the servant, what makes you think that I have strayed from the Lord? Okay. So this guy's like,
We're gonna
come
get
on,
a
man.
stick.
Yeah, like he goes, come on, man, come on, come on. And he's like nodding his head. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, right?
Yeah.
Kai can see me doing it, but
Come on.
and I
Come on.
go, oh, yeah, come on, man. You know why? You know why? And I go, no, tell me why. He says, silence of the lambs. And I kind of looked down at my shirt and then back up at him, and I said, uh huh. He goes, come on, man, come on. Silence of the lambs. You know that Jesus was the Lamb of God, right? And I go, uh huh. And he goes,
There are some people who want to find a meaning in everything when it's just a movie title.
it's just a movie title.
Oh, ye of little faith, right?
Yeah, so I go, he says, Silence of the Lambs. I even preached a sermon a few weeks ago about Silence of the Lambs. And I was like, okay. I was like, all right, well, what else, dude? What else tells you that I'm not living for God, that I'm not living my spiritual. Keep in mind, the night before I'd saved the dude's life. I mean, or excuse me, what he would identify as God picked me up like an instrument, saw that I was a fit vessel to use to save somebody's life. You know what I'm saying? The night before, and this guy's sitting here on this pier saying that I've strayed from the Lord. You know what I mean? So I'm looking at the guy and I go, okay, well, what else besides the Silence of the Lambs T-shirt? What else? I'm not bothered to explain to him that Silence of the Lambs is a thing that connects me to my dad because we love those books. You know, it's like, dude, it's not even. What are you doing, dude? But anyway, so I said, all right, what next? He says, come on, man, that necklace, man, that necklace. And so then I looked down at the necklace with a smile, and I looked back up at him, and I said, well, what about it? Come on, man, what's that symbol mean, man? Come on, come on. And I said, oh, this symbol here? I said, this is the Hindu symbol for Christ. What? I said, yeah, that's what this is. It's the Hindu symbol for Christ. No, it's not, man. No, it's not. And I said, I'm pretty sure it is, dude. He's like, no, it's not. That is the symbol of a demonic god called Krishna. And I go, yeah, Krishna sounds a lot like Christ, don't it? Right? It sounds like if you say it, Krishna, Christ. So kind of sounds the same, yeah? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, well, what else, guy? What else? So he goes, come on, man. And now he's looking at the stick in my bag, right?
What a perv.
Yeah, I know, right? And I'm like,
All those
he's like, come on.
come on, men of God love checking out people's sticks.
Why? Catholic, I don't know. So
that was gold.
So he's nodding at the stick, and I'm like, what? He goes, come on, man. I know you. Come on, me and you both know you've strayed from the Lord, man. Come on, look at that. Look at that. And I said, and I looked over at my stick with a smile, and I looked back at him, and I said, my stick? And he's like, yeah, man, your stick, man. And I go, my stick? He's like, yeah, your stick. I know you know why you have that. You know why you have that. And I go, do I? He says, come on, man. You know why you have that stick. You know that's not what God likes. And I go, God doesn't like sticks? And he's like,
why did
come
God
on,
make sticks then?
Yeah, why did God make sticks? He goes, come on, man. You know, if you used to be a Sunday school teacher, if you used to be a Baptist, because I told him, I was like, dude, I know all this stuff. I used to be a Baptist. He's like, see, used to be a Baptist. And I was like, yeah, I evolved past that because that's what the Bible says to do, is to move beyond faith. Perfect yourself in knowledge, not in faith, because faith means you don't have the knowledge. That's what the Bible says. Move beyond faith. But anyway, I could have turned this guy into a theological pretzel if I wanted to. Like if I'd wanted to just mess him up with the Bible, because I know that book, dude. Kai, do I know the book?
He
They
does.
can't hear you. Yeah. So if I'd wanted to, I could have, but I was like, man, this dude thinks he's doing something for God, and his wife is there, and his kids are there, so I'm not going to punk him out in front of his family, you know, because there's nobody with me, so what do I got to prove? So I was like, so my stick tells you that I've strayed from God. Yeah, man, you know in the last days that sorcery and witchcraft are going to expand. So now I'm thinking, like, what's this guy thinking now about my stick?
That
I
it's
think
a
this is
wand.
wand.
He thinks it's a sorcerer's wand, right? And I joke about it, right? So I'm like, huh? He goes, you come on, man, casting spells and stuff with your wand. You know God doesn't like that. You know that's sorcery. And I was like, well, actually, sorcery is pharmakia, which is the use of drugs, but
Sticks
okay.
only cast a certain kind of spell.
Right, yeah. Over the ladies. Ha!
Or
Ha!
some men, or some men.
Or some men. So I was like, okay, so between my stick, or excuse me, my shirt, my necklace, and my stick, you ascertain that I have strayed from God. And I said, well, can I ask you a question, man? Yeah, man, yeah. And this is a big thing in Baptist circles. I said, do you believe in once saved, always saved? Okay. You guys know about this? Like the whole battle between you could lose your salvation if you get saved in the Christian church?
No.
No,
Okay.
I'm
All
not
right. Well,
religiously educated.
all right. Well, there's two camps in fundamental Christianity. One is you can't lose your salvation, which means if you have a salvation experience, you're saved, you're in God's hand. Nothing can pluck you from the Father's hand, not even yourself. Okay? So that you once you're saved, you could literally get up and go live a very, very bad, sinful life, but if you die according to them, you still go to heaven, right? So it's salvation is forever. Like you can't lose it. Now,
Shit, that sounds like a good deal.
it is a good deal, and it is literally what the Bible teaches on the matter of salvation. That's what it teaches, and I can prove that. Don't make me go Baptist on the two of you.
I don't need you to. I I'm irreligious.
Okay, great. I know that, but you need the backstory. So
No, I do. Absolutely.
the other camp is they believe that you can lose your salvation, or that you can lose it, like you could drop it. And so I don't
Wait,
believe that,
wait, so you can drop your salvation like your stick?
like your stick. Yeah. And so I don't believe that. That's not what the Bible teaches. The Bible teaches once saved, always saved. It's forever. Okay. So I looked at the guy and I was like, so do you believe that once saved, always saved? Because I was going to go into, well, dude, I was saved, so I'm always saved. And, Romans 14 says basically make up your own religion, make up your own stuff is what Romans 14 says. But I didn't get a chance because he's like, no, I don't believe that. I said, you believe that you can lose your salvation or it can be taken away? He says, well, if I give you a white suit, okay, if I give it to you, okay, it's a gift, and then you go and get muddy in it, then it's not white anymore. And I'm like, I don't even know what that means.
Yeah,
What?
that's a faulty analogy because you can wash it.
Yeah, you can
Yes.
wash it, right? And
With
not to
bleach.
mention, yeah, with bleach, and it's like, can
I
you
think
show?
this dude just needs to drink some bleach. I'm sorry.
See,
Moving on.
he had his beliefs. It was what it was. But and so I'm like, okay, so you can lose your salvation or whatever. And I'm like, all right, well, can you show me that in the Bible? Like that analogy that you just used about God giving me a suit of salvation and then it getting dirty, therefore I've lost my salvation. Can you show me that in the Bible? Because the Bible's supposed to be the final authority of our faith and practice. So can you show that to me? Oh, no, man, no. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right. And so I was like, well, thanks for talking to me. I appreciate it, and thanks for pointing out that my shirt, my necklace, and especially my stick are indications to you that I've strayed from the living God and I'm not walking my path, right? So he's like, all right, brother, well, can I? I said, you want to pray with me? And he's like, yeah, is it okay if I pray with you? And I was like, all right, I'll let you pray with me. So then he wraps his arms around me and gives me a man hug, and I'm just sitting there like, and we're in the middle of a pier with people walking past us. You know what I'm saying? So he's making it like a big show. Like, look, everyone, I'm getting this guy saved. And so he wraps his arm around me, and I just kind of stand there awkwardly, in the embrace of a man hug with this complete stranger,
Who was
And I'm
just
like,
criticizing everything about you?
yeah, he was just criticizing everything about it. And so he's, oh, dear Lord Jesus, get Daniel here back on the path. He's strayed. We both know that he's strayed from you, and yada, 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 right? So I'm like, all right, thanks for that, dude. And he's like, all right, brother, you be well, man. Just walk the path. And I'm like, yep, I was doing that before we met on the pier. And so they were walking back to the beach. And so I was like, well, that's awkward. I'm not going to walk that way. I'll walk back to the pier. So I went back to the pier over the ocean. And then, sure as shit, I sit down, and a few seconds later, he comes running past me like a marathon runner and passes me a New Testament. Here you go. And I'm like, all right, I got several of these at the house, but all right, I could always use another one. All right, so here's where it gets hilariously funny to me. Okay, I got a stick. Guy's got a stick. We decorated our sticks. We carry our sticks. This guy's thinking it's like a sorcerer's wand, and I'm summoning demons or something with it, right? Well,
Yeah.
this is. And Kai, try to unmute and see if your quality is okay, because I want you to add in on there. Are you unmuted?
Now I am.
Okay, that's okay. All right, Kai, would you like to tell Dylan why the two of us made sticks?
I mean, you can.
You
I,
want me?
yeah.
All right. A few months
Oh, you
ago.
talking about the song?
Yeah.
A bad lip reading song. My stick is better. You gotta listen to it when you get off the phone with us.
Yeah.
Got to. I recommend everybody who is listening to this to listen to that song after this is over.
Yeah.
And you'll laugh.
Which song?
and-
Repeat it again for us.
Okay. So this is we were tripping balls a few months ago, doing landscaping, and we had we went to YouTube and we were looking at funny videos and we found a bad lip reading with Yoda and Luke Skywalker, and the song is called "My Stick." Okay.
My stick is your stick.
No, okay. So Dylan, now even though we're not going to embed this in the podcast, Dylan, go ahead and pull that song up real quick, and I want you to watch it while you're on the line with us.
But a little piggy and I let the little piggy run amok.
Got it. Hold on.
All right, and
Okay.
all right, that's better. All right, Dylan, so you just watched a bad lip reading of "My Stick." What'd you think?
That seems like just the type of video that you and Kai would enjoy while tripping.
And so the link to that video will be in the description below, as they say on the YouTube. But that is the reason, because I think we dropped acid that day, but that's the reason where like after we watched that song, we were like, dude, I want a stick, and Kai's like, I want a stick too, dude, and we made our stick. Okay, off of a fucking spoof video from YouTube with Yoda and Luke Skywalker, and here I am on a pier, and this guy thinks what?
That it's a magic wand.
So you just watched My Stick, a bad lip reading. Description for the video, or the link for the video is in the description below for everybody listening. All right, and what is it now? I'm on a pier with this guy. This guy thinks that I'm a Satanist because of this stick that came from a YouTube Yoda video, right? So it's like, I just, I sat there in awe after it was all over with, and I'm like, the audacity of this guy, or people like this guy, who look on the outside of other individuals and they say, this person doesn't look like me or dress like me, and therefore I'm going to condescend to them in some type of a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it comes, that type of presumptuousness comes with, in a lot of ways, that super devout, sort of, that proselytization-esque belief system, where you feel the need to spread the word and you're so presumptuous to believe that you know better than your fellow apes who really don't know any better. I mean, no, we don't know better. We just don't. So it takes a certain level of presumptuousness. So I'm not surprised that somebody judged your outward appearance and took that to mean you've strayed from the path of God. People are presumptuous.
Yes.
Especially faith.
Yeah, it just, that's always been a point of contention for me because I'm a big believer in individuality and self-expression. You know what I mean? And the way that you go ahead.
Sorry, I have a story. It's not quite as it's not quite as interesting, and it's significantly shorter.
All right, let's have it.
Okay, so I was getting off the bus from work. I had just gotten done for the day. And this guy drives by. And I forget what he yelled, but I'm pretty sure he yelled, "You go," which, okay, weird. Why would you yell that as I'm getting off the bus? But whatever.
You go?
You go. Like, encouragement.
Oh, okay.
And, but he decides to come back.
Uh-huh.
He pulls around, he pulls up, gets out of the car and starts talking to me about how I should come to his church and pray with him because then my disability will go away if I
Oh,
pray hard enough.
okay.
And it's not exactly the same. It's not the judging by appearances, but it's the same type of proselytizing.
Same type of thing. Yeah, yeah. That's
And
sad, man.
I think it's honestly, I think it's hilarious.
Well, I mean, but it. I don't know. Kai, have you ever been judged on your outward appearance or proselytized in a type of way like that before?
Nah, man, I'm too cool.
You probably wouldn't even pay it. Like you wouldn't know it if you were. You don't pay attention to petty stuff like that. Anyway.
I don't. Why would I give it power? Fuck that. My energy is for me. I don't need to embrace your nonsense. You know, because that's really all it is. And if you're so like big into your faith, why are you all here judging other people? It makes me
Yeah,
upset actually when I think about it. You know, like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean, go ahead.
The people who claim to be the most secure in their faith are often the ones who get the most offended when other people don't agree with them.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, if his wife and kids hadn't have been there, it would have been a different situation because I would have been like, dude, let me tell you something. You know, and Kai can attest to this. I am a spiritual warrior. Okay. I dabble in spirituality every day and have to deal with a lot of what you would say is malevolent energy or forces or just you know what I mean? You know, and that's some people who are in the spiritual path, that's their calling. So it's like, dude, even your Bible says to be a soldier for Christ. You know, and guess what happens to some soldiers when they've been in war? They get beat up and they get bloody. Maybe you just met somebody on a pier who just got out of the biggest spiritual battle of his life.
Or
You know what I mean?
or maybe they're just holding a stick.
Or maybe they're just holding a fucking stick, which also make for a great back scratcher. My stick does because it's got those keys on it, so I can scratch my back real good. But it's
Oh,
like,
dude,
dude,
I have this great head scratcher that has like 8 points, and you just
yeah,
rub it up and down, and it scratches like 8 spots on your head. It's fantastic.
that sounds great.
Yeah, it sounds pretty great.
It,
That sounds
it could,
amazing.
it could also double as a back scratcher. Oh, it's very nice.
Oh yeah, my stick is a great back scratcher. But well, I tell you what, my stick isn't.
A
Okay,
wand.
it's not a utensil for fucking summoning demons. Okay, that's not what it is. It's just a stick.
Expecto,
Stick.
expecto patronum.
Well, now,
That's Harry Potter, dude.
oh yeah, okay, yeah, right. I should have just started speaking in tongues with the guy. I don't know, but yeah, if his it's like, dude,
I
you know what?
I would have
It is.
I would have struggled not to troll the guy.
I didn't want to. I mean, like I said, I didn't want to like embarrass him in front of his wife and kids and shit. But it was just, and I could have, but you know, you got to pick your battles. I mean, that wouldn't have been a battle, but it was just like, all right, dude, go home and put your head on your pillow. I don't know. It was just the audacity of the guy. You know, the audacity of anybody to make a judgment call on a person on the inside based on what they misinterpret on the outside is just the very height of hubris, in my opinion.
Yes.
Man,
Ooh.
Yeah,
the height.
it's the type of arrogance that comes with thinking that you have all the answers.
Yeah, yep, that's exactly right. And what did the great philosopher say? I know that I know nothing.
Yes.
You know,
Though
it's anyway.
often men who have wisdom are the biggest fools of all.
Yeah, because I had to get knocked down a few pegs when I thought I had it all figured out. Now I'm just content to be ignorant. Not ignorant, not like willingly ignorant, but I'm okay to say, I don't know. I'm not there yet. I don't
Well,
know.
all it takes is a level of open-mindedness to acknowledge that no human being is capable of having all the answers to questions that are frankly beyond our understanding or abilities to understand.
Right. Yeah, and you know, I don't know, especially when it comes to the spiritual realm, which, we dabble in quite a bit. So, we've seen weird shit. And it's like a lot of the stuff that you experience in the spiritual realms when you're doing any kind of spiritual work, you can't describe it in words anyway. And that's why, like, if you read any old scriptures, the prophets who went, they were translated to different realms or different dimensions, they always say it was like this, it was like that, because there's just no words for it. And so, I've traveled to Uberverse before. I've had out of body experiences. I've had near death experiences. I've had what you would call visions and dreams and things like that, while not under the influence of hallucinogenics, mind you. Uh, and
Mm.
I still don't. I've seen some crazy shit, and I still don't have it all figured out, and I still don't know how to put a lot of it into words. So it's like I'm looking at this guy on the pier, and I'm like, dude, have you ever? You're reading 66 books, not even in the King James, by the way, which means you're missing a lot. And you have, I don't know. It didn't
What?
bother me.
What? A religious person missing important context?
Right. That's never happened before. Salem witch trials. Uh, no, religious people have never twisted the Bible. Spanish Inquisition. You know, always
Any inquisition?
they always get it right. They are the proper interpreters of the Bible. Crusades 1, 2, and 3. So yeah, I
That's
don't
why
know what you.
that's why there have never been any fights over interpretation. Forget the Lutherans, forget the Calvinists.
Yes, forget all that. But really, it's. I don't know. I wanted to tell the story and get it off my chest because I thought it was funny. Because it's like, dude, I got this stick because I was tripping balls one day and watched a video with Yoda. I mean, you know, you're so
Yeah.
off. You're so off.
Yeah, if you had a magic wand, it probably wouldn't be a stick.
Right. Well, who
It would
knows?
probably be like a TV remote or some shit. Because that's what you do.
Yeah, you're right. If hypothetically I did have some type of magic device which was serving as a wand, it would be some shit you least expect.
It wouldn't be a stick.
It wouldn't be a
And
stick.
and if it were a stick, you wouldn't bring it out to the pier with you.
I probably would, dude. Knowing me,
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I probably would. Yeah, I don't care. But anyway, I thought it was a funny story. Stupid.
It is.
His wife was pretty hot though. She kept checking my stick out. I thought that was cool. Like, I should have said. I should have said your wife don't have a problem with my stick, bruh. So
He was probably checking out the stick too.
Am I still in the call?
Yes, you're still here, Kai.
Okay, cool. I was just making sure.
So I don't know. It was. It's interesting. It's been since middle school when I've had to deal with somebody who judged me on an outside appearance in that way. So,
I mean, if we want to take it on a more serious note, quite frankly, I get judged for my appearance every day.
yeah, I bet you do, man. You get tired of the shit?
But I can't really tell. You seem to be always in good spirits, so you must not give that shit power. Don't give that shit whatever. Fuck them niggas.
It's endlessly frustrating, but
yeah,
it's why I love the internet.
Yeah.
You fuckers want to judge me? Go for it.
Yeah, you have that buffer.
Yeah, in this arena, I am powerful.
That was awesome.
You're in my realm now.
Yeah, you're Professor X hooked up to Cerebro when you're on the internet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy. What kind of way? If you don't mind talking about, what kind of ways do people judge you, dude?
Oh, I have people assume I have literally no intelligence whatsoever.
They'll be wrong.
Yeah, because of the wheelchair. They just assume I have the intellectual deficit to go with it.
What?
Because that's a common pairing. A lot of people with physical disabilities, especially my type of physical disability, have mental disabilities as well. But I don't.
So what do? They talk loud to you, like "Hello, little boy," or some stupid shit like that?
Yes, exactly.
Really?
Yeah, or when I'm at a doctor's office, they'll talk to my aide instead of me, even though it's my appointment and I was just talking to them. They'll talk to
please,
the what?
please, please tell me that you wear really cool T-shirts to fuck with people like that.
I do.
Okay, cool. Like you have a shirt. If you don't have this shirt, Dylan, I'm sending you this fucking shirt. Do you have a shirt that has an arrow pointed up that says the man and an arrow pointed down that says the legend?
I don't have that shirt.
I am fucking sending you that shirt, bro.
Yeah.
And then whenever somebody talks at you like, "Hello, how are you?" Act like you're fucking mentally handicapped.
I literally had it at my college, at my graduation from community college.
Go ahead.
I literally had somebody do that at my graduation from community college. Like,
The man legend.
no, the hello.
Oh, wow, that's fucked up.
Like, I'm graduating. I obviously have some intelligence. I'm
Yeah.
here.
Oh God. People are weird, man. People are they got
Yeah,
their little
I
I don't know.
attribute it to them not really knowing how to deal with people in my position.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people in my position don't have a lot of personal agency. It's just a fact of how it is. I mean, people with congenital disabilities that are as bad as mine. I'm in a minority in that group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but I am. So I don't blame them for assuming that. It's not a terrible assumption, but
Right.
it's fucking irritating.
Yeah.
If you don't let me ask you what and any question that I ask, you can tell me to go kick rocks. You don't have to answer. But what's your condition?
They actually don't know.
Really?
They were never able to diagnose me. They said he has something. We don't know what, but he's got something. Like no
What the-
shit. No shit.
So maybe they should name whatever it is after you. That'd be kind of cool.
That would be kind of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. The Dylan Wade swagger.
I, I've thought about going back to see if I could get a better diagnosis, but at the same time, I'm not getting worse. I'm as bad as I'm ever gonna be. So
And this is something you've lived with your whole life?
yeah, something I've lived with my whole life. It's never gotten worse. It's always been the same.
Wow, dude. Well, I'll tell you what. It's probably it's every curse is a blessing in disguise, really, because you're a hyper powered brain. I'll tell you that much, dude. I
Yeah,
mean,
I definitely wouldn't be as well read.
right. I mean, so there's a reason for it. Because me and Kai, like, we'll get off of a podcast and we'll both be like, Dylan is the baddest motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this motherfucker be spitting, dude.
No, I mean, I appreciate it. I'm never I I'm never upset about my position. It is what it is. It's my position. I was born in it. There's nothing I can do to change it. Um, so I'm never like, "Ugh, curse
Yeah,
thee." No,
yeah,
it is what it is.
it is what it is. Yeah.
It is
I
what
mean,
it is.
I deal with my I don't know if you want to call them disabilities or handicaps or disadvantages or whatever. It's different for me with mine because you can't see them. You can't see CPTSD. You can't see it. You know what I mean? Unless you've been around me when I have an episode, then you can see the results of it. But it's all internal. You know what I
Right.
mean? Which is weird. And I wasn't born with it. Clearly, I developed it over a series of systematic traumas, back to back to back to back. And then this weird thing starts happening in your head where you're like, what the fuck? And then you have to deal with flashbacks and emotional flashbacks and blacking out from flashbacks, which is really, really scary. God, that's so scary.
Yeah.
uh, but
I'm always really glad that my disability is only physical. 'Cause
yeah,
at least in my mind, I can maintain control at all times, or most
right.
times.
Right, because I've always, I'm not. bragging on myself, but everybody knows I'm highly intelligent. I have a Hemi in between these two ears, and you throw that in with being a Virgo. Not only is it a Hemi, but it's fast. So I think far and fast. And when I was coming up, I always used to wonder about mental disorders or emotional disorders, and I was like, dude, if my brain, if my mind ever got out from underneath me, if I lost control of the reins, I would be terrified. And then, I guess you kind of, it was a self-fulfilling prophecy because later in life it did. You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
having those types of disorders is a difficult thing because again, nobody can see it, and so
Yeah.
they look at you. And we'll throw back to the Joker. You remember when Joker's writing jokes or punchlines, and he said the funny thing about mental illness is everyone expects you to behave as if you don't have it.
Yes.
Yeah, see, I get that a
Oh,
lot.
yeah, I mean, the problem is for a lot of people are very visual in how
Yeah,
they perceive the world. So if they can't see a disability, they don't think it exists.
right.
Out
It's
of
like,
sight, out of mind.
yeah, and like with CPTSD, which kind of evolves after PTSD, you get into what's called not fight or flight, but faint or fawn. Okay, which is it's weird. It's the weirdest stuff because whenever you start to have an emotional flashback and you get into faint or fawn, you literally like you freeze. You completely freeze up and you are unable to do tasks that you normally do with ease. Like, dude, I came out of an emotional flashback, or I went into an emotional flashback and went into faint or freeze or faint or fawn, and I literally could not open up a Word document on my computer, though I had done it billions of times before. I could not do it at all. And
Yeah.
so it's like it's strange, man. Thankfully, I've got a pretty good handle on it now. It's nowhere near as bad as it used to be. But it's like when you're trying to explain to other people what it's like, they don't get it. They don't get it because they can't see.
No,
They can't.
they don't get it because for them it's impossible to get unless you experience it because they can't see it. My disability has the benefit and the curse of being incredibly obvious.
Yeah, so it's
The
right
limit
there.
Yeah, the limitations that it could cause, most of them are very plain for everybody to see. So
Right,
they don't have any trouble believing you have it.
right.
Um, for a mental health problem, oh, they have trouble.
Yeah, they have a lot of trouble, and and people will lose patience with you too, which is it is what it is. But because they don't get that it takes a while to heal your the neural pathways in your brain from traumatic events back to back.
Yeah,
And that's
and I don't maybe this is wrong of me. I don't even blame people for it. Like it's how we're wired in a weird way. Uh,
yeah,
we have to get beyond how we're wired and we have to learn to be better than our instincts. But unless you have to deal with people who have mental health problems on a daily basis, it's hard to train yourself to recognize it.
yeah. That's why, like, whenever we were doing the Joker decoded, and it's funny that I think I put up last night, or was it last night? I put up that Arthur Fleck 2020 for president because
Yes.
chaos is
Yes. Yeah.
you know, that's why there are two camps over that movie, and one camp is all right. You know what I mean? Like you were like, he was all right.
Yeah.
But for somebody like me, like that movie is the best. Uh, it's the best representation of what it is like to have an inward battle with yourself when you're dealing with an emotional or mental disorder. It showed perfectly that what it's like. That movie was dark and ugly and painful to watch, and it's like this is what I'm like sometimes behind closed doors. You know what I mean? So that's why I really love that movie because it was like maybe now, when I'm talking to people and I let them know I have PTSD, CPTSD, I could say, "Have you ever seen the Joker?" to get them in the ballpark. You know,
Yeah,
you know what I
although
mean?
that might freak them out a bit. But no, I mean, movies are experiential events, and it, you are going to get out of it what you take in. So you took in a different perspective than I did, and it gave you a whole different viewpoint of the movie than I got.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's a good movie, but I can appreciate for someone like you who has not a similar issue, but some.
Have to. That has served me well. Whenever it becomes problematic for me, it served me well to to become somebody completely different. And then take what's still usable and not damaged and pour it into that identity, and then look back at the trauma and the bad relationships or the toxic relationships from a third party, from a third perspective, and go, oh, okay, that happened to that guy. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's kind of how I've dealt with it. And I don't know, anybody listening with PTSD, CPTSD, give it a shot. Give it a shot. Create a new name or something. Create a new character, and then be that person. Try to. Because I think that's it's very beneficial from detaching from replaying traumatic events.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I've always said I don't wish PTSD on my worst enemy, because it really is balls. I don't wish any emotional does any well, I don't wish anything on anybody like that at all. But we all got our struggles.
Yeah.
And the best that we can do with them, I think, is what I try to do with mine is go, okay, whenever a problem comes along for me, I have to figure it out. I have to solve the puzzle, as it were. And so what I've tried to do is do as much research as I can on PTSD and CPTSD and insomnia and things like that I've suffered from, in order to find ways to alleviate the symptoms so that I can tell others. You know what I mean? And it has served me well. And in my line of work, it served me well, with people who call up and they're in the middle of an emotional flashback, or, they're having some issues, man. And it's like they happen to call the toll-free line, and I'm there, and I have, like we said on the couple of shows ago, is if my suffering gave me the ability to make it easier for another person or people, then I understand and accept my suffering. That the stuff that I've gone through, if it was for the benefit of others, and not that God just wants me as his pinata, which sometimes I've certainly felt that way. I know you probably have too, right, Dylan?
Oh, absolutely.
It's like, God's an asshole. What'd you do this to me for, dude?
Yeah,
You
the
know,
fuck.
the fuck, God, the fuck.
If this is all
So
part of some grand design, I am not impressed.
yeah, yeah. So, but then with time and retrospect, it does make sense, and you do see the beauty and the ugliness of it, and you try to make the best of it. And don't be. I think a lot of people who sometimes get certain ailments or disorders or anything like that, they do get bitter, and then they begin to become toxic towards everybody they meet. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know people who
Yeah.
have like schizophrenia or bipolar or whatever, and they're like, yeah, why me? And therefore they treat everybody around them like shit. You
Yeah, I
know?
mean, I get that. I understand it's very easy to become bitter and jaded like that. I've caught myself falling into that trap a few times, but it, you just got to work your way out of it because being bitter isn't going to help anything.
No, it only makes it worse, because when you burn all your bridges and you piss off everybody who would be able to support you, and you're alone and you have to deal with it, it's like, what? Well, you did it. You did it to yourself. I mean, you were treating
Yeah.
everybody like you were a victim, and everybody got tired and fed up with your crap. So
Yeah.
now,
Now,
now not
now,
only you're sick alone, dude.
yeah. Now, I think there's a difference between being bitter and jaded and being playing victim the whole time
Yeah,
and telling it how it is.
yeah,
Because there's like us get telling people about the disadvantages that we face isn't us being bitter.
no,
It's us telling it how it is.
that. And another thing I think is, like, I want to inspire other people who are going through similar things. I want to overcome, and I want to live the best that I can with what I have to carry, in hopes that it inspires other people to go, well, you know here's somebody who suffers from the same thing I suffer from that makes me want to quit all the time. And he didn't quit. And look what he's done with his life. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to be that guy. I want to be that guy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know how long we've been going.
We've been going an hour.
An hour. We got an hour out of it. Well,
Look
Mr.
at
Wade,
us.
me and Kai-Wong have reached our destination. While even though it's lightning really, really bad on the beach, we are probably still going to be nuts enough to go out there, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You guys are that crazy.
I didn't bring my stick today, so hopefully I will not be proselytized on the pier. But oh wow, do you see what I see, Kai?
No, I can't see anything. Oh yes.
Do you see that? There
See
is
that.
a gun. All of that?
All of them. Look at the ones coming up on there. Look at
God, dude, we are watching a flock of southern bells pass right in front of us on this beach, and it is the most magnificent. God is a genius. Get out! Damn, I should have brought my stick.
Now I kind of want a stick.
You
Get
should
one, dude.
Get a stick.
But
Get
where,
a stick.
that would be a really hard thing to explain.
You're not supposed to. Just say it's a stick for summoning demons. It'll get you far in life. All right, Dylan, you want to wrap this one up?
All right, that concludes the Super Show ever, episode 724. Actually, I
seven?
think it was 723 when we started.
I thought it was 765.
No, I'm pretty sure it was 723, but I could be wrong. That concludes this episode of the Super Show ever. We will be back soon with an episode number that is unspecified. Stay tuned.
All right. You guys be well and get your stick.